G'day guys, Make It With the Circle. The other day I was talking about how Forge World is going to be having a new pricing structure based around the fact that they'll be selling their models based in the currency of the country they're selling to, all around the world. I thought, that's interesting. That can only be bad for the consumer. Anyway, the change has kicked in. The Australian price for a Warlord Titan is $3,000. That's before tax, I'll add. You buy one of these, you're going to have to pay additional money when it arrives at customs. Now, what's that in pounds? Well, apparently you can buy one for £1,293 in the UK. What's £1,293 in Australian dollars? 2,266.87. As opposed to 3,000. Well, if my calculations are correct, Forge World's making approximately $733.13 off the top of my head. Additional money just for selling this model to Australia. Any questions on why recasting has become so popular in Australia and New Zealand? Anybody? Nobody. Also, anyone like to take a guess what countries haven't sold out of Adeptus Titanicus? If you guessed Australia and New Zealand, yeah, you guessed pretty right. Well, fuck the consumer, hey? It's really, really great to see this kind of price gouging. What does it say to the consumer, honestly? Like, everybody knows it's not because of taxes or anything like that. You're going to say it's because of the upkeep of stores. You know, we're not selling Forge World and Games Workshop stores. You can't tell me it's because of that. Is it shipping? Well, shipping a Titan around the world does not cost $700. I can tell you that right now. And the fact is, it's free shipping anyway, so none of it makes sense. I can admit, though, that a 10% cut of it would go to the GST in Australia, which is a tax. But of course, that's a lot less than the 20%, or best case scenario, 17.5% VAT tax that's charged in England, which is of course something you cannot charge Australians. And of course, it's something that Forge World charges everyone. They charge their VAT to everyone. Okay, it's 3,000 Australian. What about if we go American? Let's find out what a Warlord Titan is in American dollars. $2,000 American dollars. Yeah, so 2001 American dollars to buy a Warlord Titan, and it should cost them 1,666. So the Americans are getting only ripped off half as much as the Australians, about $340. Well, 333.77, I think. So yeah, even the Americans are copping it this time. So Forge World would like to say, this new system, or Games Workshop on their Warhammer community page, this is better for the consumer. This is better for you, our new pricing structure. Is anyone looking at this right now and thinking, this is better for me? Which would you rather? Would you rather an additional week's waiting time? I mean, I already have to wait a month for models to arrive in Australia from the UK. Would you rather an additional week or two's waiting time? Or would you rather pay an additional $340 American dollars or an additional 700 Australian dollars? Of course, it's pretty clear cut. So, thank you Games Workshop. I think I'll keep not buying your miniatures for a while, until you clean up your act. Happy to buy recasts though. I think you've finally converted me, and I mean, I held out for a long time. I would only ever buy recasts for models that were out of production that I literally could not get through any other means. Well, now I think you've just convinced me to chuck it all to the wind, and I'm a guy who has, 13,500 points fully painted of Thousand Sons Heresy. Before that, I had 5,500 points of Iron Warriors Horus Heresy, all resin purchased from Forge World. Before that, I had 3,500 points of Raven Guard, all Heresy, purchased from Forge World. Before that, I had about 4,000 points of Death Guard, all resin, all Heresy, purchased from Forge World. Before that, I had Chaos Demons Army, mostly purchased from Forge World. Before that, a Thousand Sons Army, a really old one when they first brought out the different power armor types, the Mark II, Mark III, that kind of thing. Full army of that was worth a couple of thousand points. So you've got someone who's spent a better part of 50, 60,000 Australian dollars on your company over the years. You've now successfully lost my business. Think about that. The only thing I want to buy now is the black books for the Horus Heresy and maybe Primarchs. Maybe. And the only reasons I want to do that is because A, I want to finish my Primarch collection. I've got, 13 Primarchs, 14 Primarchs. So I'm doing pretty good. I've got all the ones that are released, I think. And I want to finish the Horus Heresy series. I want to get all my black books. But yeah, right now, what you're charging is not fair. You're charging me extra money just because of where I live in the world. And I'm not saying you're the only company that does this. There are tech giants, they do it as well. But just because they do it, it does not excuse Games Workshop doing it. And yes, Games Workshop has shareholders and needs to turn a profit and that kind of thing. But that profit shouldn't be made on the backs of honest consumers in places like Australia, because you're losing the honest consumer. Nobody wants to shop with you. I can poll all of my friends, and none of them want to buy from Games Workshop or Forge World. And that's not just because they're my friends and I've converted them or some shit. A lot of them held out for years, even when my negativity drooped down, and they said, no, I love this hobby, and they're now at the point where they're going, no, I can't justify it. And people who've been in the game since first, second edition, 40k, have pulled back and they've gone, no, I want to collect bolt action now. I want to collect Flames of War. I want to play X-Wing. I want to play Malefax, or Malifaux, however you pronounce it. I want to play Infinity. And all these other games that exist, they've now gravitated towards. I've got people, mates like Ryan Kimmel over in the USA, collected Games Workshop for 20 years. He now plays Battletech and Kings of War, and Heresy. And those are the only games that appeal to him. And you think he's going to go out and spend all his hard-earned money now on the Heresy with these kind of price changes? I don't think he will. And I don't think a lot of other Americans will. So the only downside here is that Titanicus did sell well in North America and Europe. It sold out completely compared to Australia and New Zealand, where it definitely did not sell out. The sad point of that is that people have just confirmed to Games Workshop how deep they're willing to dole out the money. And that's a real shame, because the company's never going to change if they don't get the message. So, what can I say? Worst part is, I didn't want to be making this video today. I wanted to be making a video today about starting the Horus Heresy with Sisters of Silence. Now, that's a video I will still make, not today. I'll start it today and probably finish it tomorrow, but that's a video that I've now got to say, hey, people who live outside of Australia and New Zealand, here's how to get started in the Horus Heresy. And even then, the Americans, just be advised, you're probably going to pay 10% more than the UK. Now, that's... here's what it is. It's bullshit. Anyway, what do people think of this stunning change? Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.